Chapter 6, 157. Dongfang Chang Fan, Miniscule Mountain. Translator, Chibi General Editor, Chibi General. The light of wisdom dyed the cave walls with beautiful lights. Fang Yuan quietly stood in it for a good while before opening his eyes, slowly stepping out of the wisdom light halo. The wills in his mind were almost fully consumed. Mortal goo could only produce limited wills and could not compare to wisdom path immortal goo. My deduction of immortal crane sex plan has failed, not because I don't have enough wills, but because I don't have enough clues. Fang Yuan reflected inwardly. After being in the wisdom light halo many times over these days, he had summed up his experiences. Wisdom goo was different from natural inspiration. Wisdom goo emitted the light of wisdom, which could provide unending insights to Goo Master. But the result of the thoughts and deductions were based on the Goo Master's foundation, as well as the clues they had accumulated. Fang Yuan's attempt at deducing immortal crane sex conspiracy against Hu Immortal Blessed Land failed because he did not have enough evidence. In summary, the deeper the Goo Master's foundations and the more evidence they gathered, the more accurate the outcome of the deduction would be. Naturally, when there was more evidence, there would be more factors to consider, and the amount of thoughts and will consumed would also become larger. Especially when deducing immortal goo recipes, the factors to consider were too many, thus the wills consumed were enormous. As for natural inspiration, it was a precious experience when a Goo Master advances to a Goo Immortal. During this process, the Goo Master questions heaven and earth would directly provide the solutions with no need for the Goo Master to think. Let's take a difficult mathematical problem from Earth, for example, solving a multivariate equation. You're sure, if the Goo Master used wisdom goo, his thoughts would quickly consume while he would obtain numerous insights, causing there to be many paths to the solution. Some of these paths might be dead ends, while some might give wrong results. Only a few would be correct paths which could deduce the solution. While natural inspiration would be akin to directly giving the correct answers. The Goo Master would obtain the correct answer, but they had to know how to use it. Thus, during natural inspiration, the Goo Master should not ask overly profound questions. Fang Yuan did not directly ask about eternal life. Maybe heaven and earth would give him an answer, but he would absolutely not be able to comprehend it. It was like a child who had not learned mathematics seeing a linear equation. They naturally would not be able to comprehend the answer. To comprehend this answer, the child would have to learn numbers, unknown variables, positive and negative numbers, and so on. But this would only be the foundation of the foundation. To Goo Masters, even if they obtained answers to excessively profound questions, they would not be able to comprehend it or be able to use it. Even if they asked about all aspects of this difficult problem during natural inspiration and comprehended the basics, the time consumed would be too high. The amount of information would also be so large that the mind would not be able to bear it. As such, the best way to make use of natural inspiration was to ask according to the state of one's current foundation, then stabilize the foundation and progress step by step. But within Wisdom Path, there is an immortal goo that can allow a Goo Immortal to directly obtain answers. That is Heavenly Secret Goo. Goo Masters do not need to have their thoughts collide nor make deductions. As long as they grabbed onto that strand of Heavenly Secret, they would directly obtain the answer. In the records of history, this goo was created by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. He possessed a rank 8 Heavenly Secret Immortal goo, but after his death, this Heavenly Secret Immortal goo disappeared without a trace, and there has been no news regarding it since then. Fang Yuan suddenly recalled Heavenly Secret Immortal goo. Goo worms had one ability, and even the rank 9 Wisdom goo was no exception. The higher the ranks of the goo, the more powerful their ability was. If Wisdom goo was truly activated, its effect would definitely be terrifying. But even if it was stronger, it could not replicate the effect of Heavenly Secret Immortal Gummirin. It was rumored that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was the rank 9 Goo Master who could detect and react to the heavenly fate most closely. He created Heavenly Secret Immortal Goo to interact with heaven and earth, and also to experience natural inspiration again. If I have Heavenly Secret Immortal Goo, it would combine exquisitely with Wisdom Goo. Meanwhile, if anyone else used Heavenly Secret Immortal Goo to investigate me, all of my secrets would likely be exposed. Heavenly Secret Immortal Goo could let Goo Masters directly question heaven and earth. There were no events in the world that heaven and earth did not know of. It was as the saying goes, except you and me, only heaven and earth know. As for other wisdom path Goo worms, Fang Yuan did not need to worry for the moment. The wind veil of assimilation had swallowed everything, cleaning up all the traces of crimes Fang Yuan had committed in Imperial Court, bless the land. Without Heavenly Secret Immortal Goo, Wisdom Path Goo Masters would have to make deductions according to normal methods, and that was to gather as much evidence and clues as possible. They were unable to plunder any crucial clues from Imperial Court blessed land and could only begin investigating from the Imperial Court contest. It was not impossible to deduce Fang Yuan's true identity with this. It was only that the probability was low and the time required would be longer. Northern Plains, Jade Pool Blessed Land. From a bird's eye view, the blessed land was covered with innumerable large and small deep pools with the color of a mixture of blue and green. Led by Chan Yu tribes Gu Immortal, Tongzu, around 10 Gu Immortals of Northern Plains. Righteous path slowly descended from the air. The noble Jade Pool Blessed Land is truly unique and fresh. These innumerable jade pools are like the stars in the sky, their beauty unmatched. A female Gu Immortal strolled on through the sky, expressing her admiration. Her hair that was 20 to 30 feet long draped behind her and was extremely eye-catching. All of these jade pools have different types of water, raising countless aquatic species. Dongfang tribe's fish groups and water vegetation have been famous for a long time in Treasure Yellow Heaven. A male Gu Immortal opened the third vertical eye on his forehead and gazed at the jade pools with a shining gaze. Lord Murong Qing Si and Lord Guanshen Zhao are exaggerating. My tribe's jade pool blessed land has only been in operation for just over 6,000 years. The landscape cannot compare to Murong tribe's yin-yang blessed land, while in terms of productivity, it still falls short of Guan tribe's Shihuang blessed land. Gu Immortal Dongfang Yikong, who was attending to them, welcomed them with a smile, modestly talking of Dongfang tribe's specialities. Jade Pool Blessed Land was the headquarters of the Huangjin family's Dongfang tribe, a superforce. A group of Gu Immortals slowly descended. This, among the myriad jade pools, did not appear to be a remarkable location. Beside a jade pool was a small hut. An elderly man was sitting beside the pool in front of the house, in the midst of fishing. These are underworld eels. Guanshen Zhao's vertical eye on his forehead gazed at the pool before blurting out in shock at the scene inside the clear pool. When the other Gu Immortals heard it, some of them also showed slightly moved expressions. Sir Dongfang, we have already not seen each other for over 10 years. Thinking of back then, when we charged into Snowy Mountain and fought side by side? Sigh, time really flies by. Everyone stood still as Gu Immortal Tongzu, who had the highest cultivation, made a greeting. I mean, Lord Tongzu, you are still as graceful as ever, while this old man has one foot in the grave. I don't dare to compare with you. The elderly man who was fishing stood up slowly. He was Dongfang Changfan, Northern Plains #1 wisdom path, Gu Immortal. Dongfang Yikong walked to Changfan's side as Changfan continued. Dongfang tribe is honored with the presence of all of you. Being able to welcome everyone to my humble abode is an extreme honor. Everyone, please come in. Dongfang Chang. Fan led everyone inside the hut. The inside of the hut was spacious. There was a plaza and also halls. There were 16 stone statues at the plaza, seemingly arranged in order as well as randomly, as they were separated by varied distances. The expressions on them were subtle, as if containing some kind of mystical pattern. This is Dongfang tribe's rank 6 immortal Gu house modest thatched hut. It truly is brilliant, one Gu Immortal praised directly. Dongfang Chang Fan led everyone to the administration hall and seated them. Northern Plains Righteous Path, Gu Immortals, representing all the different forces, had gathered under one roof. Dongfang Chang Fan sat at the main seat and smiled as he observed everyone. This time, I have invited everyone here personally in order to make a transaction with you. Guan Xinjiao and the others glanced at each other, with no one taking the initiative to speak. It was still Tongzhu who responded. Sir Dongfang already decided to not make deductions for others tens of years ago. But in the letter you said you were making an exception for us, and will deduce the true culprit of the destruction of Truyang Building, or perhaps other aspects. But I wonder how we can pay for this transaction. And Dongfang Chang. Fan coughed several times before sighing. This old man's lifespan is at its end, and I know there is no hope in prolonging my life. But before I depart, I have some concerns lingering in my heart. One is the tribe's growth, and the other is my tribe's descendants. I hope I can make this transaction with everyone. This old man shall make deductions for each of your tribes once, and after I die, I hope everyone can ally with my Dongfang tribe. Alliance? Yes, this old man has already roughly prepared the alliance contracts. Everyone can examine them, and if you have any objections, we can modify it right here. Dongfang Chang Fan took out 2 East Window Gu, which he then handed to the Gu Immortals. The Gu Immortals skimmed over the contract one after another. The alliance conditions were extremely lax. Dongfang Chang Fan did not even request for mutual help and protection among the allies. He only requested that after he died, they had to protect Dongfang tribe's peace for 50 years. In this time period, the parties in the contract could not target, suppress, or attack Dongfang tribe. The Gu Immortals involuntarily felt a rush of excitement. Dongfang Chang Fan was currently the #1 Wisdom Path Gu Immortal of Northern Plains. Besides him, there was no one else suitable to deduce the true culprit of Truyang Building's destruction. In the cultivation of Gu Immortals, who would not encounter some difficult problems relating to their cultivation? Or perhaps they might obtain immortal Gu remnant recipes that require deductions? With Dongfang Chang Fan, these issues were very likely to be resolved. Even more importantly, after Imperial Court blessed land perished and 88 Truyang Building collapsed, large numbers of Gu worms were brought over by the formless fists to all regions of Northern Plains. The aura of immortal Gu manifested in many places, causing the Gu Immortals to contest over them. At this crucial time, if Dongfang Chang Fan deduced the location of an immortal Gu, then they were very likely to get that immortal Gu. Everyone was more than moved, and they couldn't help but praise Dongfang Chang Fan's shrewdness. If it were during normal times, Dongfang Chang Fan's bargaining chip might be somewhat less important. But now, when one deduction was very likely to represent one immortal Gu, all the Gu Immortals were moved. Great, Sir Dongfang. Our Chanyu tribe accepts your conditions. Tongzhu spoke first, then He tribe, Murong tribe, every tribe's representatives also accepted. This situation was within Dongfang Chang Fan's expectations. His smile became even brighter. Since this is the case, Fairy Lishan, please take action. Fairy Lishan? While everyone was surprised, a rank 6 female Gu Immortal walked from behind the hall and appeared in front of everyone. Fairy Lishan, I trust you have been well, a Gu Immortal greeted. Another Gu Immortal laughed. Sir Dongfang sure has made ample preparations, even inviting over Fairy Lishan. It is just that this Jade Pool blessed land does not have any mountains or rivers. How will we make the oath? Dongfang Yi Kong, who had been silent all this time, stood from beside Dongfang Chang Fan and spoke, Everyone, please wait and see. He then opened his palm. Lights in vibrant colors floated in the center of his palm, revealing a miniature mountain peak. Could this be Miniscule Mountain? Morong Qingxi opened her graceful eyes wide as she reacted first, saying in a disbelieving tone, Bilwan, exactly. Dongfang Yi Kong gave a modest smile, but the pride within him could not be concealed. A commotion erupted among the Gu Immortals.